Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the much awaited event that we were looking forward Walter Society for Innovation and Research, Virtual Grand Summit for Peace. Peace that we all strive for, peace that we all want, and a peaceful world is what we all dream for. It's a 4-day virtual event, and welcome to the third day of the summit. We had 2 successful days, and you can go to our Facebook page and you can find the recording over there, wherein the speakers from across the globe have presented their view about peace. So today we are here for the third day. The theme for the summit are peace education, global citizenship, amplifying voice of youth, women, peace and security, diplomats and religious scholars talk, climate action for peace. Now, let me tell you how we are going to move ahead with the entire program. So, as we firmly believe, any program needs to be started by taking the blessings from God Almighty. So, let's join together as we start with the prayers. Om Asto Ma Sadgamaya, Tamso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityo Ma Amritam Gamaya, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. From ignorance, lead us to truth. From darkness, lead us to light. From death, lead us to immorality. Light and brightness has always been equated with positivity, motivation, and connect with the spiritual being. The lamp is invoked as Tamsoma Jyotirgamaya. The lamp leads us from darkness towards light, the light of peace and prosperity. So, following the ritual, invoke the blessings of Lord Almighty, and let's begin our journey of peace, brotherhood, harmony, and a society where everyone, each living being, lives with peace and harmony. So let me begin with introducing CWSIR. CWSIR stands for Charles Walter Society for Innovation Research. It's an NGO founded in 2019 by Dr. Smita Tiwari. It's an independent research institute through the Society Act 21, 1860, based in Gorakhpur, UP, India, and under the able presidency of Dr. Abhishek Pandey. CWSIR visions for promoting research and innovations and targets the mission to strengthen the society with enlightened intellect and wisdom through the specific ideology from the specialized fields and different streams. CWSIR is a staunch believer that research, creativity, and innovation can lead the entire fraternity of education to a destiny that can produce good literates, research, scholars, national and international patents, and a wider perspective to develop and implement feasible definition of living in peace. And the entire credit goes to Dr. Abhishek Pandey, the president of this NGO, who is a gold medalist, research-oriented educational innovator with many recognition, awards and accolades, yet very down to earth and humble. CWSIR aims to provide a network for expanding the spirit of creativity, innovativeness, digital literacy, and academia. It also provides a strong support get original and peer work published in academic journals of highest impact order. So today I am Dr. Himangi. I will be your moderator for day 3 session of World Peace Summit. I'm an educationist with over 2 decades of experience in teaching, training, coaching, and currently working in the capacity of Director Principal for World School in Maharashtra. Let me begin with telling more about Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research India, wherein we together, everyone who is connected with us from the entire world, we wholeheartedly welcome all the delegates, and it's a privilege to announce the guests, special guest, chief guest, and the guest of honor for today's event. So our chief guest for today is none other than Mr. Angelo Poz. He's a biologist from Italy. Then we have Mr. Rauf Khan. He's an educator from Egypt as an esteemed guest of honor. We have Major General Vikram Dev Dogra, AVSM, an honorable special guest from India. We have Larvi Aridyansh, author from Indonesia, as a special guest. We have Professor Mike Whitty from University of Michigan, USA, as a special guest. And we have Professor Binu Thomas, Dean and Registrar from Sikkim Professional University, Sikkim, India, as a guest. So we welcome the entire galaxy of intellect, keynote speakers, and the dignified persons from across the globe for the third session of the World Peace Summit. I, on behalf of Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research, welcome you all. Before moving forward, I would warmly welcome Dr. Abhishek Pandey, President, Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research, to share his insight on the occasion of World Peace Summit. Dr. Pandey?
Just. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, all of you. First of all, greetings from Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research. And praise the Lord. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste, everybody. Today, as Dr. Himangi was announcing about CWSII's vision and mission, I am very happy to have you all today on the platform of CWSI talking on peace, the ultimate goal of human being. As it is written now, Veda sarve bhavantu sukhna sarve shantu niramaya sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschitu bhagave. We, the Indian, are praying the Lord Almighty for the peacefulness of the entire universe, along with the system and surrounding. We, the Indians, always pray the Lord Almighty for the peacefulness of entire system, entire people connected to us, believing in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Without taking much time, I would like to hand over this entire platform to the moderator of the day to moderate the entire program for World Peace Summit. Once again, my greetings to everybody from Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Dr. Pandey. Definitely, we as Indians, we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Entire world is our family. And if we have to live in a united world, definitely peace is the only solution. So let's begin our today's event by the thoughtful insight from our chief guest for today. May I request Mr. Angelo Puz, biologist from Italy, our esteemed chief guest of the summit, to begin with inaugural insight of Mr. Angelo Puz, please.
I think he'll be joining in next some minutes, in next few minutes.
So, that's fine. We will move ahead and then we will come back to him again. So may I request now our esteemed guest of honor, Mr. Rauf Khan, educator from, please share his insightful talk on peace. Mr. Rauf Khan, please. So while we are still waiting for a few of our esteemed guests to join, I can see our third esteemed special guest here, Major General Vikram Dev Dogra, AVSM. Sir, it gives me immense pride to welcome you on this platform. May I request you to please share your insight on peace?
Hello, good evening, and thank you for having me here. It's indeed my pleasure and privilege to be and talk on something which is so essential in the world today. I have served in the army for 41 long years. And what we did best in these 41 years was to train to fight and win wars. Wars that cause misery, that cause destruction, and that cause death. And the people who suffer the most in these wars are the soldiers, people like me who fight these wars. So who can understand the importance of peace more than an army man? Wars bring endless maladies of poverty, crime, killing of innocents, social unrest, food crisis, the list is endless. And when we look at the countries that are affected by war, we only see tears and tragedies of innocent victims. So peace building, conflict resolution, conflict prevention, whichever term you want to use, comes through stable and robust foreign policy. It comes through diplomacy. It comes out of defense and security. Therefore, to address the root cause of the conflict or the causes of conflict is indeed a very, very complex task. And not only for those living within the region of the conflict, but also for those supporting people who are working for peace. Conflicts do not stop at state borders, and responses require the influence, they require the resources, and they require the commitment of numerous people and numerous institutions. Peace building, I feel, is an enabler of development, an enabler of security, of social and economic justice, and of reconciliation. And there are many reasons why investing in peace building and conflict prevention should be high on the priority of every organization, every government. Peace, as we all know, is a celebration of life. We now know that many spiritual leaders and teachers that we look up to make a choice to live in peace. And they guide us to live with peace, which is within ourselves, to be with peace with ourselves, and that we can actually choose not to suffer. And we can choose instead to live in gratitude and to live in love. Not only that, but we are also learning and finding that claiming that peace within us is equally essential to creating a world which is full of peace. Because all of life is interconnected. Our fear, our hatred, the anger, everything decreases if we are at peace with ourselves. And therefore, the chance of peace in the world goes up. Without peace, the destructive tendencies will continue to inch up. They will inch us closer to catastrophe. And by the potential, and have the potential to create a world which may self-destruct. Peace is the desire of every human being. Peace is the hope of every nation. It is the hope and promise of every politician, the pulse of every religion, the pulse of every tradition, and the goal of every prayer. Where wars destroy and tear apart, peace builds and strengthens and restores. At the same time, peace is personal, for each of us longs for that security in the face of troubles, in the face of anxiety, and in the face of chaos. Let peace prevail on earth is what our motto should be. And one of the main reasons for the absence of peace is the proliferation of asymmetric relationships. Wherever and whenever there is an oppressed party under the ruling of an oppressing one, there is bound to be violence. The natural balance breaks up and the particular society becomes violent. Peace is therefore the answer to this violence, and equity is the foundation that can lead to lasting peace. The gap between development of countries suffering from systematic violence and those that enjoy momentary peace grows bigger by the day. And some of the benefits in countries that enjoy peace are deeply related to growth, sustainability, health, and education. We could summarize all of that with what we call standard of life. Peace is the way out of the world's current state. Organizations as well as individuals struggle every day to make Earth a more joyous and peaceful place to live in. And if we help spread the message and join our efforts to create awareness on the importance of peace, chances are that we can soon change the world. Let's look within. Let us start with peace. Peace starts with you. Ordinary citizens can make a difference. When is the last time you said sorry? Think about who loses when you win. Are the people around you heard and respected? Or are they marginalized? Are they ignored? And are they left out? Make a decision to care about what happens to them. Start a constructive conversation with someone you disagree with. Every one of us can choose to make society more just and peaceful, or more unjust and warlike. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was indeed remarkable. Live in gratitude and live in love. And if we live in gratitude and empathy, peace definitely is going to thrive. So let's move ahead, and we are delighted to welcome our next special guest, Larvi Ardiansh, author from Indonesia. So may I request Larvi to please unmute himself, and please express his views regarding peace. May we have Mr. Levry, please?
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Dr. Lavery is there. He
Yes,
has joined.
he's there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you very
Yes.
much, dear Dr. Sima Negi. Thank you. And thanks so much to Dr. Abhishek Pandey. Hello, everyone. Greetings from Indonesia. I have to wear mask in this event because, my next door, husband and wife, have that last week, positive for COVID-19. This is what I want to say about global citizenship. That health environment reality of the world today should be addressed to all levels: individuals, civil society, communities, and nation states through a global lens. Here in Banten, West Java, Indonesia, I am in a red zone. My family in a red zone. And maybe your family too. I want to say that the world is one family now. The whole world has to live together like a family. And to live with COVID-19 too. Well, the pandemic still holds a grip over life. And we still have no idea what was going to happen. COVID-19 killed more than 1.8 million people in 2020 and will not be the final plug. But I think there is a hope thanks to the new RNA technology. Our defenses against most future plagues are likely to be immensely faster and more effective. As new viruses come along, or as the current coronavirus, researchers can quickly recruit the vaccine's mRNA to target the uterus. So there was a sudden shift in the evolutionary balance between what human technology can do and what virus can do. We may never have a pandemic again by this mRNA or human genome editing. Medicine is at the turning point, at the cusp of major change as disruptive technologies such as gene, RNA, and all therapies enable scientists to approach disease in new ways. I think this swiftness of this change is being driven by innovations such as GRI, SPR, gene editing, which makes it possible to correct errors in DNA with relative ease. So progress in this field has been so rapid that we need the dialogue. There is a potential ethical consent here, and also societal and safety issues scrambling to catch up. I want to say that world peace is depend on the 3M. Mask is our protection. mRNA COVID-19 vaccines are solution for stopping pandemic. And the ZM is manipulating DNA is our future. Thank you so much, Dr. Abhishek Pandey, and greeting from Indonesia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lavery, for your insightful words. Thank you so much, truly honored. Moving ahead, I would like to welcome our next special guest, Professor Dr. Mike Whitty from University of Michigan, USA. So if we have Dr. Professor Mike Whitty here, please. Since I cannot see him on the participants list, we can move ahead and we will come back to him again. So I can see Dr. Binu Thomas here. So may I take the honor and privilege of inviting Dr. Binu Thomas, Dean and Registrar Professor, Sikkim Professional University.
Thank you, Dr.
May I request, may I request everyone to please be on mute? Yes, Dr. Binu Thomas, your views, please.
Thank you, Dr. Seema Negi, for introducing me to this platform, to this virtual platform. I feel honored and privileged to be here with you today. And I wish to thank Dr. Abhishek Pandey for giving me the opportunity to speak on women, peace and security. Women, peace and security agenda has a transformative potential. It's a powerful tool for moving from exclusive to democratic decision-making, from gender inequality to gender justice, and from conflict and violence to sustainable and feminist peace. Women has a voice and power to be agents of change. Women's agency, voice, and capacities, as well as a real gender perspective, are critical to local dialogues, better policies, and more equitable peace deals. The agenda is now recognized internationally, but there are still challenges. Patriarchy, inequalities, militarized masculinities, and discriminatory power structures inhibit effective conflict prevention, inclusive peace, women's rights, and participation. To realize the transformative potential of the women, peace, and security agenda, it's time to move from verbal commitments to actions. Governments, the United Nations, civil society, the private sector, and other actors must implement relevant commitments across all thematic areas. Ensuring a gender perspective and women's participation, protection and rights is critical, including in prevention and disarmament, protection in displacement settings, peacekeeping, policy making, and reconstruction. Action is crucial to build a sustainable and peaceful world for all of us. Evidence indicates that women participants in peace processes are usually focused less on the spoils of the war and more on reconciliation, economic development, education and transitional justice, all critical elements of a sustained peace. We work to ensure women's priorities are central to peace and security decisions at all levels. To achieve this goal, we address social, cultural, and political barriers and protection risks that limit women's full participation in achieving and sustaining peace. Peace-building efforts aim to manage, mitigate, resolve, and transform central aspects of the conflict through official diplomacy, as well as through civil society, peace processes, and informal dialogue, negotiation, and mediation. Women are not limited by the roles they are assigned to in peace building, and also that they are following normative gender roles concerning the work they engage in. The study shows that women, even though not presented as it is in the peace agreement, are agents of change and should thus have a larger official role in the peace agreements, since previous research also have shown that by incorporating women, the peace is due to last longer. There's an understanding concerning which areas women participate in the peace building process and why women's role thus can and should be implemented in the peace agreements. Since their role as agents for change in the aftermath of conflict have shown to have quite the impact on the peace process. By understanding that women do not follow the roles they are assigned to, one can see the opportunities women possess to make a difference in the society and how important it is to support the women in their peace building process. This, since they are active in changing the society, changing the society after a conflict. Now, when we speak about peace, the understanding that women which do not follow the roles they are assigned to, one can see the opportunities women possess to make a difference in the society and how important it is to support the women in their peace building process. Since they are active in changing the society after a conflict, by understanding the women neither are only victims, but rather victims as well as agents, it is important to incorporate their agency in the peace agreements, since it will enable women to work with peace building further and implement an even further change. By instead implementing a policy that demand a minimum of women participating in the peace process or having women's groups discussing women's roles and how actively can engage in the peace reconciliation process and the peace building, women's agency in the aftermath of conflict can be used to a larger extent. Peace building in an activity that aims to resolve injustice in non-violent ways and to transform the cultural and structural conditions that generate deadly or destructive conflict. It involves 4 steps: articulate clear goals, objectives, and activities, develop plausible theories of change, identify preliminary indicators with at least one that is explicitly focused on peace or conflict, pull all of these pieces together into a logical framework which serves as the overall. Peace building addresses economic, social, and political root causes of violence and fosters reconciliation to prevent the return of structural and direct violence. Our youth can play a major role in controlling this crime graph. They can contribute towards establishing peace in many ways. They can awaken the people towards the necessity of peace. They can bring the criminals in the mainstream by educating them, and they can do much more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Indeed, women play a major role in peace building. And if women support women, I think peace will be the way to move forward. Thank you so much for your delightful and insightful words. Moving ahead, it's time to welcome the speakers for today. To begin with, we have Dr. S.C. Aziza Jalaluddin founder of Go Global Business School, Singapore. Over to you, please. Dr. Aziza.
Okay, thank you for unmuting me. Peace, greetings, and welcome, everyone. It's a real wonderful opportunity for me to be able to present in this esteemed platform. Welcome to everybody who is watching live and as well as the recording. You know, when you're asking about peace and we're talking about peace, I would like to narrow it down. And as we talk about it in our life, is global peace through individual peace. So I'm going to touch on some amazing people in the world that has lived to demonstrate that, just 3 different people. And then I'm going to zoom into what we do to demonstrate that peace that is available within us. So first of all, I am from Singapore, born and brought up here. So, you know, in our work in Singapore is multicultural, multiracial. So that's kind of embedded in my blood, you can say, right? So the first person I want to remind of everybody that, you know, I'm born to learn about and think about is Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he is someone who has lived the message of peace in the utmost way. And in the Islamic context, you know, people when they say Assalamu alaikum, it is basically peace be upon you or peace be with you, and that is already a reminder that I see peace in you and you see peace in me. And that's exactly what they do in the Namaskar, seeing the soul and individual peace. So a constant reminder of peace is given to us every time we live this life, right? The other person I want you to remember or be reminded of, and many of you may not know, is Vallala, Ramalinga Swamijir. He's a saint from southern India, and he doesn't believe in anything like different culture, different religion. He just believed in one statement, which is Arutperum Jodi, Tani Perum Karune. And this is a mantra that he used, and it simply means Arutperum Jodi, the utmost supreme light. Tani Perum Karune, the utmost compassion. So he believed in the message of compassion as a way of life, and he demonstrated that in many parts of his life. And he was in from the 1800s, early 1800s. So you may want to search him up. He's an amazing person who lived that truth. The third person that I want to talk about, or the practice that I want to inspire you to look up, is the Ho'oponopono practice by the Hawaiian. It is a powerful Hawaiian technique that has 4 sentences that inspires one to look within, to really be the responsibility for what we create in our life. And that 4 magical words, if you remember, say it with me. If you can't, just listen to what I have to say. The 4 words are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. This is the most healing mantra you can tell yourself and make yourself come out into that space of love, peace, and joy that we innately are. So this has been the kind of historical people that has lived in this land, in this world, in this earth. And what we want to suggest to you today in our Go Global Business School, I'll tell you a little bit about why we ventured into this space. Because for us, we already know peace is innately available in us. It's all those masks, all those facades, all those things that we put on ourselves, physical and not physical, that is stopping us to get into our heart and our true beingness. So it is our head and our heart coming together that relates to this clarity that we can set in for ourselves. So what did we do? What did we innovate on, knowing all these people, Prophet Muhammad, Ramalinga Swamijir, as well as the Ho'oponopono technique, and many other saints and sages, siddhas, who have lived in India and across the world. And we pranamams to all of them who have lived it, and especially also those who have showed up today to show the power of, you know, peace within. So what's going to happen, I want to tell you, is the responsibility as individual we can take to remember that peace is me and it is not something I can acquire or something I must work towards. Rather, everyone, global peace through individual peace. That is the message. And we went to innovate further in our work. What we have demonstrated is global peace through global business. So that's what we have done. And that's been a very interesting conversation in our Go Global Business School, because we go beyond barriers in our work. cultures, religion, to ensure that everybody comes together. We also went ahead to create a channel called the Go Global channel that just don't talk about peace messages to individuals, but we also went into conscious business conversations, conscious capitalism conversations that really triggers people to realize that peace is not a message for people who don't have money, but peace is a message for everyone to embrace as a way of life. And that is what has inspired all of our work. And here we are together with all you beautiful people to see what's possible. So I think that's kind of what I would like to conclude in this 5 minutes. I think that's the best I could do. And I want you to embrace this 30 seconds in just asking yourself this one question. How will I demonstrate my inner peace today? I want you to write this down. How will I demonstrate my inner peace today? So as we start our day every day, we ask this question. I think the world will be better than a beautiful space it is right now. So thank you so much to the organizers, Dr. Abhishek Pandey and his team, for an amazing, amazing space you have created for everybody to come together. Namaskaram, namaste, vanakkam. 大家谢谢你们的时间. That's Chinese for you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Aziza. That was indeed beautiful. And every morning when we get up and before we put our foot down, if we express our gratitude for everything, I think the inner peace will start from there. Beautifully, you have proved everything by giving the right references at the right platform. Thank you so much. Moving ahead, we welcome our next speaker, who is an educationist from Georgia. So may I have Ms. Tamara Lolishvi, please expressing her comments and her views about peace. Ms. Tamara.
Hello, welcome. Thank you very much. So I'm Tamara Lolishvili, a teacher of an English language and international project manager from Gymnasium IHS. I'm a volunteer in several international organizations, a fellow at Global Peace Institute, an educational advisor of Indian Buddhist organization, and a peace educator at HWPL Korean Educational Branch. So what peace means to me? Let me tell you a story of a king and a sage who said what I have to say, which is exactly what I think. There once was a king who was curious to know peace. He called many teachers, sages, to explain its nature and significance, but none of them could give him a satisfactory answer. Then one sage who lived outside his kingdom gave him a grain of wheat and said, "Look here, and you will find the answer." The king went to his palace and put the grain in a small gold box. Every morning, as it was a kind of ritual, he would open the box, look at the grain, but he could not find the answer to his question, of course. At the end, the philosopher returned to visit the king, who immediately took out his little gold box with the grain and asked him to explain. It's very simple, sir. The longer you have your grain stored for your safety, nothing will happen. It will create roots and it will perish. However, if you put it in interaction with other elements such as air, water, sunlight, it will grow and multiply, and soon you will have a wheat field. Therefore, the same thing happens with peace. The philosopher continued. If we keep the peace that we have discovered in life kept in our hearts, it will perish. But if it interacts with the other elements, cultures, and people, it will expand. And one day there will be peace around the world. These trying days of the pandemic have highlighted the importance of peace values. So some of them, especially psychologists, call them emotional intelligence, but these two concepts have one and the same in common. These values have never been so important in these unprecedented times. Future uncertainty, working from home, stress, anxiety, homeschooling, and getting used to new forms of communication are all testing us in different ways. This global crisis is testing all educators, students, workers in any field on 4 key fronts: their ability to manage fear and anxiety, their capacity to make clear and confident decisions, their competence in managing disappointment, and their power to motivate and encourage others around them. In each of these areas, peace values can play a powerful role. From my observation, I have found that one of the greatest obstacles in education for peace is the feeling of impossibility of its implementation due to the inability of many people to imagine peace as a real project to carry out. All humans propose peace as a goal to be achieved, but unfortunately, some take advantages of it. In this sense, there is practically no political or educational program that does not promise to achieve peace. I have Googled and I have found out that Google offers us 1,005 registered organizations that promote or at least practice peace education. There is no person who admits not wanting to live in peace. Still, what we lack most of all is peace. Target. Students must be taught how to engage in integrative negotiations and peer mediations to resolve their conflicts with each other constructively. I think that civic values must be inculcated that focus students on a long-term common good of society. What we learn from experience is wisdom, and peace specifically needs to be put into practice in interaction with others to gain experience so that it continues to flow. Today, I'm even more motivated as I see I'm not alone. Now I'm looking at tens of shining eyes. Thank you, organizers, for organizing this summit and for my invitation. I'm 100% sure that I'm not a drop in the ocean. I know I will multiply if I share my experience with others and will be willing to learn from someone else. I will be an example to my daughters, to my students, friends, colleagues, to my community that is the part of this huge world. For this very purpose, I'm an advisor to a Buddhist organization, thanking them for this opportunity. Tolerance is what makes 21st century skills perfect. My main motive is to sow the seed of tolerance between different races, different religions, nations. If a person's, so generally, tolerance is a person's ability to respect, and generally it is not only a moral value, we do know, but also a political and legal requirement. It is often only one step from tolerance to discriminations. That's why, please, let us sow the grain of wheat, what the king has in his hand and keeps in a golden chest. Let's pour water, remove weeds. We will not be afraid of rain or snow. I'm sure that exactly this very grain will bend down very soon. We do know that the ripe head has never been raised. It will bend down and wait for the harvest, only with your help and only with my help. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tamar. That was really great. And definitely each one of us might be just a drop in, but together we are mighty ocean, and mighty ocean is mightier than mighty. So definitely together we are moving ahead for a peaceful world, and peace is everyone's business. So all of us have to work towards it. So as rightly said, peace begins with a smile. So I request all the speakers and audience to smile, because that is the way of life. So moving forward, we invite our next speaker, Professor Vedrana Sarak. She is a professor of economics from Croatia. Do we have her here? Professor Vedrana Sarak? May I ask the technical team to please check if we have Professor here right with us? So we'll come to her later. Now, may I invite our next speaker, Dr. Jose Martin. He is President, University College Teachers and Doctors in Social Studies from Mexico. So do we have Dr. Jose Martin here amongst us, please? So friends, since we have people joining us from various parts of the world, so it might happen that the sequence will change a little, as and when they will join, we will come back to them. So moving ahead, may I request our next speaker, Principal from UAE, Ms. Abhilasha Singh. Ms. Abhilasha Singh, Principal from UAE. Your insightful words, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Seema. Thanks a lot. And it's so lovely listening to all the eminent speakers and learning along with them. Just give me a minute, please. Yeah. So good evening, good afternoon, morning to all the presenters and audience joining in from different parts of the world. I am Abhilasha Singh, Principal, Shining Star International School, Abu Dhabi. I'm an Indian. I'm working in UAE. I extend a heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Abhishek Pandey and Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research for inviting me to speak at this glorious event, and a big thank you for this initiative. We need justice in the world, and for that, we need peace to prevail. I am a Teach SDG ambassador with Teach SDG's Academy in partnership with the UN Foundation. I'm a volunteer teacher with Innovation Lab schools in Tanzania and teach SDGs to Root and Shoot School in Pugu and Kitwe in Tanzania. And today I'm here to speak on global citizenship and its connectedness with peace. Late Nelson Mandela once said, education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. World Economic Forum in its report Education 4.0 has mentioned global citizenship as one of the core skills needed for the future of work and education. Given the interconnectedness and interdependent nature of our world, the global is not out there. Our links to people and places in every continent means the global is part of our everyday lives. Socially and culturally, through the media and telecommunications, and through travel and migration. Economically, through trade and international finance. Environmentally, through sharing one planet. Politically, through international relations and systems of regulation. By definition, global citizenship involves engaging with distant places and different cultures, but this is never undertaken in isolation from our own lives and communities. The focus is rather on exploring what links us to other people, places, and cultures, the nature and equality of those relationships, and how we can learn from as well as about these people, places, and culture. As students engage in global learning, they develop a combination of attitude, skills, and knowledge that demonstrate 10 core competencies. These competencies empower learners to think globally, act locally, and ultimately change the world. And I love to say this, our students are young change makers. And when I talk to the children, I always tell them, global change makers are noisy, and go and make as much noise as you can. These 10 core competencies are self-awareness, respect for difference, global-mindedness and connection, curiosity, flexibility, effective and appropriate communication, analytical and critical thinking, empathy, understanding of global issues, and intercultural knowledge. It is very important that we teach global citizenship at school for peaceful society. As our young students grow up to be empathetic global citizens, we have hope that they will have tolerance and respect for the religions, communities, and traditions of the societies. When our global change makers, our students, are empowered with the knowledge of Vasudevaya Kutumbakam, there is hope in the world as peace builds, strengthens, and restores. Peace is the bold, courageous, and ultimate response to the notion that violence provides any viable solution for the conflicts of our world. Where wars destroys and tears apart, peace builds, strengthens, and restores. Given the interconnectedness of the world, our world is now smaller. An event in one part of the world has the power to impact other parts of the globe, and not always positively. So whether it is environmental conflicts, civil injustice, gender inequalities, various discrimination, people continue to suffer injustice. We want our students to be able to address social inequalities so that all human beings are part of a just and fair world. Hence, global citizenship at school level is imperative, and we need to engage our young learners to understand the responsibilities as they borrow this earth from the future generation, as we in our time have borrowed from our children. Global citizenship is a core skill that our students will need apart from the skill of innovation and creativity, the skills of interpersonal skills, relations with the team members. So we hope that schools and their educators amongst us who will ensure that it is not just the regular subjects that the children study, but global citizenship finds its way in the curriculum either as a standalone or embedded as part of the curriculum, because it's very important that our children learn to be tolerant, learn to be empathetic. And this is something that COVID-19, distance learning, home lockdown, school lockdown has taught us, that how isolated we can be if we are cooped up in our rooms, in our homes. And this world out there is one world, and we are alone if we don't have that interconnectedness. And we have hope that our young learners, with the knowledge of this whole world is my brotherhood, will strive for peace, will strive for one world, and will also stand up for the causes of others and not just themselves. So for that, and with that in heart, I'm also very thankful to Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research and for Dr. Abhishek Pandey to have thought of bringing the world leaders, some very high profile people, educators, to this forum so that we can hear from them and have key takeaways to bring it, to take them back into our institutions, to speak to our students and our school communities, to our parents. Because it's very important that we all join hands together for peace in the world. And we in our school have global citizenship as a standalone subject, where the children delve into sustainable development goals and the design thinking process, the human-centered design thinking, which has empathy as its root, for our children to think about solutions to these global problems. And we take one goal at a time. And it's really amazing to see what unfolds in front of you and how children think together and they find solutions in their small ways, and their contribution to make this world a just and a fair place for everyone. So thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Seema, for moderating today's event. And thank you everyone for bringing so much power and so much knowledge to this platform. I'm really, really happy and very honored to be here. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Abhilasha. And definitely the 21st century skill that you spoke about, I think that is what is the motto of Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research also. When we talk about design thinking, innovativeness is the key essence of this society, wherein we try to provide the platform to each and every innovator so that they can produce their prototype and then they can become the face of the new innovation. And that is what the key element this society firmly believes in. And as it is rightly said, peace is a daily, weekly, and monthly process. And who else better than an educator will understand that? So indeed, your children need to think globally, they need to go locally, and at the same time, they need to become global. So they will be a global citizen also and a local citizen also. So thank you so much for your insightful words. Moving ahead, the next speaker is Mustafa Kheti he's an economist from Morocco. So Mr. Mustafa, if you are there, please raise your hand or show us thumbs up so that we can unmute you. Since I cannot find you in the list, maybe you'll be joining after some time. So if you have joined from some other device, kindly raise your hand and or show that we can unmute you. Next esteemed speaker is Ms. Claudia Silva, an educator from Argentina. So Ms. Claudia, if you are there, please show us a thumbs up or hand so that we can unmute you. So for sure, we have our next speaker with us because we can see her in the participant list. So let's welcome an educator from Romania, Ms. Corina Sujeda. Ms. Corina Sujeda, we would like to hear your views on peace.
Hello and good afternoon from Romania. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I would like to share my screen if it is possible. Hello, can I? Thank you. So today we are talking about World Peace Summit, which is initiated by Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research, India. I would like to start with my flag next to Indian flag. Why? Because for many years, I am collaborating with Indian teachers, with Indian students, and I can say I meet a lot of wonderful people in India. I am also a global peace ambassador for Romania. So, John Lennon said, peace, it's not something you want. Peace, it's something you do. It's something you create. It's something you are. It's what you pass on. Great words by John Lennon. And let's see what a mom replied to her little daughter, when she asked, what is peace? Mommy, what is peace? It's night and light. It's clean smile. It's the heating ray and a beautiful sky. But where is the house of peace? It's in any good soul. And I have to tell you, as small as you are, it's in every I love you. Mommy, how's peace? It's like a mother's hand when she hugs the little girl. It's the warm kiss which seems like pearls. But tell me, who eats peace? She's a good fairy. What brings joy? And gather around the table everyone we want enjoy.
Vishu?
And sorry, some words about peace. Do you want peace? Create love. Peace in the world means harmony. Peace in the soul means forgiveness. There is no route to peace. Peace is the way. Peace is love, just as love is peace. Those who felt the need to adopt such a significant day, I mean Peace Day, knows that in peace, love is born. In peace, the sky is clear, and in peace, our bread grows in the field. Certainly, peace is born in each of us, and in order to succeed in promoting world peace, we must first of all promote inner peace. You, young people, are strong and innovative vectors of change, including when it comes to protecting the environment and promoting peace. According to the United Nations, in terms of climate change alone, almost 500,000 of you have taken action at home, at school, and of course in your communities. And something in which I believe strong, together we can, and of course, together we will. This was my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was beautiful. Yes, together we can and together we will. And this power of togetherness will show the world why each one of us today are gathered here and why we are deliberating about peace, because each one of us deserves to stay in a world or live in a world where peace prevails. Thank you so much. Your words were really very, very empowering. So moving ahead, our next speaker is Yanahon Nd Taporion, professor from Thailand. So do we have you here, sir? Mr. Yanahon Andy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Great. So we would like to have insight from you. We would like to hear your words of wisdom.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Just, okay. Give me the can share screen. Please give me for the share the screen, please.
Sure. So you can do that now?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Give me a moment. And good evening, everyone from the Thailand. Now is start 5:35 p.m. now. Okay, and then this is my topic today's speech. The conference is have the topic human on peace and Buddhist peaceful mean. And then my topic, why we talk about the human on peace on the Buddhist peaceful means, because I'm Buddhist. All right, and then I am Assistant Professor Dr. Yanakon Thopayun in Thailand, and I work now in the Association Researcher of Thailand. The topic human on the peace and the Buddhist peaceful mean. And then when we introduce for the Buddhist, I would like to talk with the Dalai Lama from the Bhutan. He said Buddhism is not just a religion of the past of the mother, first as many have tongue, but is a charm test scientific religion and philosophy, which in the context the present world citation is more relevant today than ever before the establishing with peace, the Dalai Lama said. And then when we talk about the Buddhist religion symbol, we can see the picture in my presentations. The religion scholar therefore determines the whales is a management and a deer animal as a symbol. One way of the Buddhist is called Dharma. The logo we call the Dharma. It is the first symbol of the Buddhists after about 230 more years later in the religion of the king Asoka in the great people of the India subcontinent. He hired his respect the division of the Buddhists until he accept the loyal portrait when he gave the monks to participate in organized Buddhist contest. At the third meeting, after the meeting was complete, he gave the chief priest to do an religious to send Thai people who can peace Buddhism to many countries. All countries also the contribute of the spread of the Buddhists. Therefore, you can see my presentation, the logo from the some religion. You can see the Christian and some the Thailand, the Buddhist and some, Islam, something like that. The logo. And the symbol from the India when the therefore called it a symbol called Sema, Thamma Sokalat, which mean both the Sema pole, the pillar, the Buddhist security, and the Dharma well, which refer to the is the principle in the Buddhist providing answer to the public, including South Sema, right? Okay. I think the India use the logo, the country, right? The Sema. Okay. And every country to the world have the national emblem, which is used in the government work and represent in the important of the country, respect the Republic of the India, a superpower in the Southeast Asia before, cause an arm and reflect the historical story of the India that spent over thousand of years. Whoever is different to the rest to the Asoka emblem at the time when India become a republic, it had been further modified, created a more Indian nation. This article explored in the pillar of the Asoka, which has had an interesting dynamics from the historic time until with the hill and the cord of the arm of the India. The human development, according to the Buddhist peaceful mean, is the process that focus on oneself to become down by wisdom to be the case of the social perfectly, so that the Buddhist peaceful mean can manage the conflicts, both inner conflict is the self and all other conflicts is social with the called human development according to the Buddhist people mean to be human development to have this domain to find the way of the operation solving problem in order to use move on non-violence by the Buddhist method. To bring the principle, the doctrine and the Buddhist had the youth to be the true and the way of the practice with the composed of the process is called Buddhist peaceful mean. The focus on the middle way, the middle way, high way, low way, and the middle way, we call which the being to the peace for the Buddhist is the peace, the path into the noble eightfold peace by holding to the practice for the appearing in right trainment by wisdom for the moving on into tomorrow by beginning from the life will to be made the good thing, the good understanding. Peace had to start from the inner, concluded the human as an important resource to drive in the create the peace for the society. It is extremely important to talk people into the Dharma process for the making wisdom. Thus, the human need to indicate 3 students which is a self-learning, self-development, self-training, collective, and improvement, which is the processing of the education training in and developing of life is composed of 3 things to be morality, concentration, and wisdom to find creating to the way of body peaceful by the creating inner peace to be actual happiness that can use and practice at the substance. The last call I would like to say is all religion make the good people. Thank you so much for the participation.
Thank you so much. As rightly said by the Dalai Lama, that do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. So definitely peace begins from inside, because a peaceful us, when we look inside, a peaceful us will then contribute to a peaceful world. So thank you so much. Moving ahead, let me welcome our next speaker, Mr. Matthew James Bailey, and co-author CEO at Elithids World from USA. So may we have Mr. Matthews, please?
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon and good evening. And I just want to thank the Charles Water Society for innovation and research and Dr. Abhishek Pandey for putting together such a wonderful event. World peace is so important for the future of not just today's generations, but also a platform for future generations to come as well. My name is Matthew James Bailey, and I'm author of Inventing World 3.0 and CEO of AIethics.world. And I wanted to share with you a few thoughts this morning around a glimpse into the future of World 3.0. I'm going to cover a couple of things around peace, education, global citizenship, and also climate action for peace. So how can artificial intelligence assist us in achieving world peace? Well, to the previous conversation we just enjoyed, inner peace and internal peace is fundamental. The digital world on our devices, on our computing, and all the digital systems that we're using today puts us at unrest, doesn't it? It puts us at stress. So can artificial intelligence take all that stress of the digital world that's part of our lives and manage it on our behalf? And the answer is yes. Imagine you have a digital angel or a digital buddy or a digital guardian that's there for your well-being, there for your nurturing, to take away the stress of the digital world in order for you to feel rest internally. And this is part of a destination that artificial intelligence can achieve for every single human on the planet, where it's dedicated to keep us at rest. And if we look at external peace as well, it's important that we focus on humanity flourishing and every aspect of humanity flourishing. And so this digital angel or this digital guardian or your digital buddy is dedicated to every aspect of your life flourishing. You have the right job, your community is doing well, and your family is healthy and happy. And so as such, that itself can help in assisting in peace around the individual, within our communities, and also within our nations and our world as well. And so this digital buddy is dedicated to well-being principles. We're healthy, we're mentally healthy. It's committed to us having a self-actualized life where we're exploring more of the human experience and liberated to explore more of the human experience. And so this is one aspect in which artificial intelligence can assist in not only putting us at rest internally, but also assisting in our daily lives and a peaceful life where we're flourishing and happy. And so can artificial intelligence become a good global citizen? We're all part of a global community, aren't we? We're one family, as the Vedas say. And that's important to recognize. Just like the United Nations said, no one should be left behind. And so as we consider innovating artificial intelligence to become a beneficial member of our societies and a global partner for humanity to advance into a future that is flourishing, let us consider how AI can contribute as a good member within our communities, within our cities, within our nations, and also as a global member of our society. We face a choice. Are we going to use artificial intelligence to keep us trapped in social media? Or are we going to use it to help us to circumnavigate the challenges we have within societies, with inequities, with social poverty, with a poor environmental footprint, and not a good relationship with our planet? So as we consider the innovation of artificial intelligence and its direction, and as we choose as a human species what our destiny is, let us consider using artificial intelligence to help us in our nations so that it honors our cultures, it honors our diversities, it has no bias, and it is making the right decisions for everyone in order for them to have a beneficial and a flourishing lifestyle. And you know, someone said recently that where we focus our innovation, where we focus our investment, reflects the health of the soul of a nation. And so I invite people to consider how healthy is our soul, where we focus our innovation, where we focus our investment, and what is that destiny that we are choosing as we invest in those things. If we look at climate, we've all been watching Sir David Attenborough for the last 50 years, who's been bringing us pictures from around the world on our environment and the real challenges we have from human living that's affecting our environment, with species dying out, and we're having a very poor symbiotic relationship with our environment. We know very well the environment flourishes, humanity flourishes. And so as part of our attention for world peace, we must also focus on the environment and the environment doing well. We know the world is out of balance, and we have the Paris Climate Accord agreement, don't we? Where now every single country has written and signed an agreement that they are dedicated to bring down carbon emissions, pollution, and start to develop a symbiotic relationship and restore balance to our environment. And so how can artificial intelligence assist in us achieving the Paris Climate Accord? Sorry, I was just distracted by that individual. Excuse me about that. So how can artificial intelligence assist in us achieving the targets of the Paris Climate Accord? Well, it can. And in World 3.0, we have artificial intelligence operating in every single system of society that has a mindset that is liberated to bring efficiency to our transportation systems, bring efficiency to our energy grids, and bring efficiency to human living in order for us to attain those mandates in the Paris Climate Accord. But moreover, it is also very aware and proactive when disasters hitting. It's able to understand when disaster is going to hit, and as such automates our society and those communities affected to be protected from those particular climate events that will occur or are about to occur. And so artificial intelligence itself can be liberated and awakened to be dedicated to assist us in having a great flourishing environment and restore balance to our planet, and as such bring peace to human living and flourishing for human living. And so I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you that we have a new digital citizen that is about to be welcomed into society, in not only being internally at rest, to it being a digital buddy or a digital angel, supporting the well-being and the nurturing of the individual, but also assist us to leap beyond the challenges of today with our environment, with inequities, with injustice, and to honor the cultures and diversities within our global community. And that's important because we want everybody to move forward together. So those are a few thoughts I wanted to share with you today, that we have a huge opportunity to welcome this new digital citizen society, and the health of our soul will reflect how well this citizen does for our goals of achieving world peace, a flourishing society, and a legacy that we can be proud of for generations to come. My name's Matthew James Bailey, and I'm author of World 3.0. Namaste, and I wish you all peace, well-being, and happiness.
Namaste, and you were too good. I mean, when the entire world is talking about technology and we talk about artificial intelligence and machine learning, how beautifully you have presented a different narrative that we can soon have an angel or a guardian who is led by artificial intelligence. I think there are some technical glitches. I am not able to operate few of the functions and my video is not getting on. I will come to that later. So moving ahead, let us welcome our next speaker. Our next speaker is Professor from Portugal, Mr. Luis Cardoso. So Mr. Luis Cardoso, we all are ready to hear your views now.
Hello, good morning. Greetings from Portugal. I'm a professor at the Polytechnic Institute of Porto Alegre. I'm a researcher at the University of Lisbon, and I'm a former dean of the Higher School of Education and Social Sciences. First of all, I would like to thank CWSIR for being here and present my deepest admiration for the excellent work that is being done. So, my dear colleagues and my dear friends, we all share this planet. We all share the same concerns and challenges. So we must work together to overcome obstacles and give our students a brighter future. Education has a key role to play in equipping youth with the knowledge, values, skills, and attitudes to understand their rights and empower them to promote just societies. If young people do not know what their human rights are and what laws and institutions protect them, how can they exercise these rights in a post-crisis world? So a global citizen is someone who is aware of and understands the wider world and their place in it. They take an active role in their community and work with others to make our planet more peaceful, sustainable, and fairer. Education for global citizenship is not an additional subject. It's a framework for learning, reaching beyond school to the wider community. It can be promoted in class through the existing curriculum or through new initiatives and activities. The benefits are felt across schools and universities and beyond. Global citizenship helps young people to build their own understanding of world events, to think about their values and what's important to them, take learning into the real world, challenge ignorance and intolerance, get involved in their local, national, and global communities, develop an argument and voice their opinions, see that they have the power to act and influence the world around them. What's more, global citizenship inspires and informs teachers and parents too. But above all, it shows young people what they have, and they have a voice. The world may be changing very fast, but they can make a positive difference and help build a fairer, safer, and more secure world for everyone. Global citizenship education in UNESCO's response to these challenges is fair and needed. It works by empowering learners of all ages to understand that these are global, not local issues, and to become active promoters of more peaceful, tolerant, inclusive, secure, and sustainable societies. So, my dear friends and my dear colleagues, education is changing. There's no doubt about this. And some of the changes for the next 20 years include diverse time and place in teaching, personalized learning, free choice, project-based learning, field experience, data interpretation, different types of literacies and skills, evaluation and exams will change completely, student ownership, mentoring will become more and more important. We must all be committed to these values because they have a key role to our students who are the citizens of our common future. Confucius said, if your plan is for 1 year, plant rice. If your plan is for 10 years, plant trees. If your plan is for 100 years, educate children. Let us remember these wise words, my dear colleagues and friends. Education is vital for our common future. Thank you so much for your attention. Namaste.
Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much. Very rightly said. I mean, education is something that each one of us need to work on. And if we consider education, if suppose I show you one apple, so one apple is equivalent to a fully grown orchard, and that is the power of education. So thank you so much for enlightening us with your thoughtful words. Moving ahead, we welcome our next speaker, Dr. Adarsh Kumar Pandey, an associate professor from Malaysia. Dr. Pandey, your views, please.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank CWSIR, Charles Water Society for Innovation and Research for actually organizing such a wonderful conference, seminar, you can say that, where the people around the world are putting their thoughts on peace, basically, and which is related to each and every aspect of our life. So I would like to thank Dr. Pandey for inviting me to put my thoughts over here. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. Namaste. So I'm currently working as an associate professor of solar energy. I work in the area of solar energy. You can say that I'm working in the area of reducing the carbon footprint in the environment. So I'm currently working in Malaysia and in Sunway University. It is one of the youngest university of Malaysia. So, okay, because the time is limited and we have to talk within the time limit, which is only 5 minutes. So, in fact, from the point of view of like as a researcher, whenever we think of like anything, we try to find out the problem. We try to identify the problem. Based on that, means we are mechanized, we researcher are mechanized in a way that we try to find out the problem. So means I was going through and means I found that what are the top humanities problem for next 50 years. So the top humanities problem for next 50 years are energy, environment, poverty, disease, democracy, population, education, terrorism, and war, food, and water. These are the top 10 problems you can say that for the next 50 years. And if you have to live in a peace, you have to, in a peace, you have to attain a peace, which is the ideal state of happiness and freedom. You can say that ideal never exists. You can only approach to the idealism. So, but the global peace is by definition, if you go by definition, you can say that it is ideal state of happiness and freedom, which is a global peace. We cannot say that we can achieve the ideal state, but yes, we can approach towards this
ideal state. And if we have to reach to the ideal state, we have to work on certain things. We have to fix few of the things. Maybe these 10 problems we have to fix. We have to, in next 30 years, we have to fix this problem so that we can achieve at least towards the global peace. So here, Ms. If we have to really go towards, but Ms. I would like to, apart from like education, terrorism, war, food, disease, poverty, democracy, population, energy, and environment. These are some of the issues we need to sort it out. But as an energy scientist, I would like to focus on the carbon footprint and the use of renewable energy technologies and how they can be useful when we use them for the global peace. As we know that currently we are can you all hear me? Someone is writing that I do not hear.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So if Miss, out of these 10 problems, like 2 prominent problem is energy and environment. So how to solve this problem is to use of the energy which pollute our less pollute our environment or do not pollute our environment. So using the renewable energies, whether it is a solar energy, whether it is a wind energy or geothermal or biomass energy, if we are using such type of energy for our daily uses, whether for the electricity uses or for any kind of energy uses, so we are actually contributing towards the reduction of the GHG, means greenhouse gases emissions, because the pollution is not local, it is a global. If we are polluting our environment somewhere in India, somewhere in Malaysia, somewhere in USA, any part of the world, we are actually polluting the global. We are not polluting the locally. This is affecting the global. This is how we are not only affecting the local peace, we are affecting the global peace. So we need to work on these problems using the appropriate technologies, and we have to invent more and more effective technologies in the future. And this can be done only through the education. That is my point of view, where we need to work, where we are lacking in many parts of the world, like there is a lack of the education, and the people need to be educated. Means the future, our future, we need to develop in a sustainable way. We cannot only work on a certain aspect only, where we are going to focus for like 5 years or 2 years or 1 year. We have to work so that we need to solve our current problem without compromising our future needs or future race who are going to live in this world. So that is my thought. And being from India, we believe in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Vasudha means the earth, Iva means is and Kutumbakam means family. So likewise, if we want like peace in our home, we have to be like peace with each and every family members. We like, if we have a family of like 10 people and someone in the family of like 1 or 2 people, they are not like satisfied and they are not in peace, the whole family will not be in a peace. So we have to be consider the world, this planet as a one family. This can be the mantra of like if we consider whole planet Earth as a family, so we can go ahead and we can attain the global peace. And I would like to end my thoughts with some of the like words from our ex-president, who is my role model, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. And rightly he said that where there is a righteousness in the heart, there is a beauty in the character. And when there is a beauty in the character, there is a harmony in the home. And when there is harmony in the home, there is order in the nation. And when there is an order in the nation, there is a peace in the world. So by this thought, I would like to end my lecture here. Thank you very much.
So thank you so much. Very, very rightly said. And as we all know that I think most of the speakers have spoken about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, how powerful term means for us and how passionate we are about this term. And it does not stand us as a term only, but it's a belief that we live by. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, entire world is our family, and this starts from me, it starts from I, and then it goes to we. So that is how we live in. So let's move ahead. Our next speaker for today, Mr. Mohammed Galal. He is an EFL English first language teacher from Qatar. So do we have Mr. Mohammed Galal with us? So, sir, if you are there, you can just raise your hand or you can show us thumbs so that we can unmute you. So let's move ahead. Our next speaker for today is Miss Himangi Arora Mishra. She's an educationist from India. So Himangi, we would like to hear your thoughts about peace.
A very good evening to
Himangi,
all of you.
Do we have you?
Am I audible? Visible?
Yes, you're audible, visible, loud and clear.
Great. So a very good evening, good morning, good afternoon. Namaskar from India. This is Himangi Arora Mishra. I am here. I'm glad to be invited here to be the part of this beautiful, amazing evening, as peace is something which is definitely a very prominent topic to discuss. And I am sure that till now, in the previous 3 days and in this part of the evening that we have covered, I think all have the same things to talk about, and obviously we are on the same platform, so I'll not take much of the time bringing all those different aspects. I am the educationist from India, and I'm very much a believer of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but also with that I actually understand the value of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam and the theory of Aham Brahmasmi. That is what and where comes Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam from. When I accept the fact that I am the part of the universe and I accept that the universe belongs to me, then the actual Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam generates, because then I become righteous and conscious about whatever I am doing in my actions and deeds. And that is what the theory of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is all about, that it's your house, it's your home. The entire global village is your home, and you have to take care of it. So if it is my responsibility to take care of my home, I will be conscious and righteous in every deed, every action that I'm doing. And that is exactly what our youth, our students, our children need to do. So when I say that I'm the founder of Nirmuktam Foundation, I have talked about peace in terms of harmony. And harmony is when I accept the diversity. So acceptance of the diversity and bringing the harmony in the actions and being righteous in what we are able to produce for ourselves, our family, and the world is what peace means to me. Now, how can we achieve it? Is very simple, that we need to bring in all those actions which can make the garland of that very beautiful, harmonious world. So I can just, being an educationist, I always have believed in this power of the stories. So I would like to relate my, the entire talk with the fact that yes, if somebody understands the value and the worth of the actions, then the responsibility comes from within. So when I say that the responsibility comes from within, I will give you a narrative like when there are two sons of a man who wanted to give all to his sons, and those two sons were given the bags of all his assets divided into two. After he gave, he was very okay and happy that yes, I have given all my assets to my kids and now they'll be in their best positions. So after many years, when they come together in front of each other, so the sons were right in front of each other, and one was a very successful man and the other one was very much in poverty, and he was cribbing about whatever he had gone through in the previous years. So the other one who was very successful, he said, what happened to you? Why are you in this miserable condition and situation? So he said, I don't know, I think dad cheated me. So he was very surprised that how can a dad cheat his own son? So he said, yes, he gave me a bag full of stones, and he said this is all he had. So the other one said, oh God, and what did you do with those stones? He said, I kept just, hitting them and just throwing away because they were not of any use to me. So the elder one smiled and said, do you know what those stones were? They were all raw diamonds. You couldn't understand that you have to actually create diamonds out of it and get yourself into the situation where you can enjoy the life. But you did two mistakes. One, you doubted your own dad. Second, you doubted your potential. So the insecurities, the problems that we see here, I'll relate to the two worlds where one is secured, has the belief, has the faith in him that whatever I am doing, it is through me. God, being the dad, being the father, will not cheat me. He has created me for a purpose and I have to live that. Second, I am the part of that power. How can I have no worth, or how can I be worthless? So I have to just understand that I am sufficient to create the change and then start the righteous actions. If each one on this earth start believing in this very way, there won't be any action of violence, any action of misery, any action of insecurity, doubt, hate, or anything. So it's just that we lack the belief in the superpower and in ourselves. So we need to talk about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, but we will not be forgetting Aham Brahmasmi. And with that, there is one more very important and a relevant point when I say so. It is that the father gave those bags when the sons were in their initial years. So it is our responsibility as the educationists to actually take that very sense of righteousness to the ground and give it as a gift to our children at a very early age. So education system should have and must have the sense of acceptance of the diversity and the security through enability. So it's very important to enable the students at the very early age. We should tell them that they can do it. The support should not be misunderstood by the teachings and non-learnings. So the support should be minimal because they have that power and we have to believe it. So this is what my talk was all about, that we have to believe in ourselves and complete the things. And with that, being an educationist, I would love to share a prayer that I have been doing in my school. And this is how I've been nurtured by all my educationists and educators. So I'll just take a minute or maybe less than that. But I would request all of you, those who are here, the prestigious forum and the guest, I would love you to sing with me if you can, wherever you are in whatever part of the world, because we say each prayer, if we do under one roof, is listened and considered. So I wish that this prayer of mine is also considered and listened by the Almighty, and may this world can live the peace and harmony that we are living and loving and asking for. So I'll start with it here. Lord, we pray for golden peace, peace all over the land. May all men dwell in liberty, walking hand in hand. Banish fear and ignorance, hunger, thirst, and pain. Banish hate and poverty, let no man live in vain. Let no man live in vain. Keep us all for everyone, one in love and grace, and wipe away all war and strife. Give freedom to each race. Let your justice reign supreme, righteousness always done. Let the goodness rule the hearts of all, and evil overcome, and all the evil overcome. Thank you so very much. I wish this prayer be heard and listened and be granted to the world we are living. And with that, with a smile, I'll be saying Namaskar. I
Thank you,
want peace for
Himangi.
you, peace for me and the entire world.
So thank you, Himangi. Yes, we each one of us desire to have peace for everyone. So as it is rightly said, never be in hurry. Do everything quietly with a calm spirit, because if we make peace the purpose, then definitely the purpose will be achieved by all of us. So thank you so much. Moving ahead to our next speaker. Next speaker is Ambassador Rahmatullah Javed, an entrepreneur from Pakistan. So Mr. Javed, we would like to hear your views, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Abhishek Pandey. I'd like to thank CWSIR for this great opportunity, and Dr. Ijaz Qureshi as well for nominating me. And I have heard the comments of the eminent speaker all over the world. It is great to talk about it. And the buzzword, as you said, smile. Smile for everyone, and you are smiling. Thank you very much. It is not only a buzzword, it is a reality. And somebody, gave the example of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that saying salam is one of the most powerful thing to do. My salam, my good evening, my good morning to every participant here. And I like to say that world is changing with great speed. 9/11 changed the world overnight, and now COVID-19 have become the game changer, and this pandemic have shocked the world. The nations have lost their track of life, yet peace is most important. We need to achieve the peace. The lives of the nations and the people of the world are not anymore the same, because atom bomb is not any strength anymore. It is the economic power which has become the ultimate power to change the world. I can only give the example of China and various other countries, because economic prosperity is required to achieve peace. Without peace, without color, peace without race, and peace being bigger or smaller is definitely a requirement in the world. Humanity, I believe, is the biggest religion in the world, and let us not compete each other, but walk together. We have to walk together. This is the time that we have to hold the hand of each and other for peace and prosperity of the world. I was listening the rule of law. The rule of law is very, very important, and its promotion is very important for the protection of societies and for the protection of peace. Therefore, I believe to achieve prosperity, peace, we must uphold the importance of law. Education, I believe, is the biggest tool to achieve peace and prosperity. As we all in Islam, we say that if you have to learn, travel to China. This is a saying when there was no travel arrangement and China was far away. So education was given importance by this phrase. And today, all the educationists on this forum have vocally said education is most important to achieve the peace. World has become a small village now, and we have to live with our neighbors. I am living in Pakistan, and I have my neighbors like India, Afghanistan, Iran, Russia, and you cannot change your neighbors. We have to live in peace for prosperity, and if we do not live in peace and prosperity, probably we are fighting with our neighbors, and that should not happen, because everybody has told the value of the peace here on this forum. I always said in my lectures, in all my sayings, hold hand of the people. People are slow. People are not good. People do not understand, but take them along. They will change, and they will become winners, and they will become a productive part of the society to achieve peace. I thank you very much for this. I am Ambassador Rahmatullah Javed. I am the founder, Secretary General of the SAARC Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Mission Chief, which is an apex trade body of the South Asian countries. And I thank you very much for this great opportunity you have provided me to learn the peace and prosperity. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you so much. You have presented your views so well. In a nutshell, you have tried to assimilate everything that all the speakers have spoken. And definitely your passion is resonated in your words, the way you spoke. Thank you so much. Next, let's move ahead and welcome our next speaker, Dr. Isra Muhammad Ahmed. Dr. Isra Muhammad Ahmed, sir, there you can raise your hand or you can show us thumb so that we can unmute you. Dr. Isra Muhammad. So moving ahead, let's welcome our next speaker for today, Dr. Johnny P. Carp, educationist from Philippines. So do we have the educator from Philippines, Dr. Justino P. Carpio? Okay, we'll move ahead with our next speaker, and let's welcome our next speaker for today, Professor Salahuddin Creed, Senior Member of IEEE from Morocco. So Professor Salahuddin Creed, are you there? So So I cannot see you in the participant list, so I'll come back to you later. Now, moving ahead, we have a social reformist from Ukraine, Dr. Katriana Ilikacheva. We have Dr. Yes, I can see her here. So Dr. Katriana.
Yeah, hello everyone. It is honor to be part of such a big event, and I'm a PhD in law. I am a lawyer, and I am associate professor of one of our university, and also I work with UN Women agency of UN Women in Ukraine, and I work on gender equality and anti-discrimination. And today I want to talk about women's role in peace building. Today, about 2 million people live in countries affected by conflict. In these countries, women are working against tremendous odds to build and sustain peace. They do it even in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, and women's representations in the COVID-19 task force stands at allow 18%. So we have 82% men in such groups, but as we know, at least 52% of people are women, but they don't have enough voice to build peace. And I want to mention that women's full and equal participant and the women's right is a fundamental human rights. During times of conflict, women's participation in resolving conflict and negotiating peace is especially important to ensure that women's rights are protected, experiences are recognized, and that peace lasts. It's very important to remember that women remain underrepresented and unrecognized for their efforts and success in peace and political process at all levels. Now, between 1992 and 2019, we have some changing of the situation, and now we have 6% of mediators in women, 6% of mediators, 6% signatories, and 13% of negotiators. But it's too small numbers to focus on and to recognize women's rights in peace building. If you want to make this process gender sensitive and to focus on this gender sensitive provision, you need to create space for women to enter, and we can find a few blocks of topics that we need focus to see women there. First of all, we need to talk about equality before the law, then inclusivity as a social and cultural norms, security and protection from violence, social services, access to knowledge and training, financial support, logistics support, and present and support from women's movement. So where are the women in peace process? First of all, we need to start from the question: are women involved in setting the agenda and designing the process of peace? If no, we need to pre-negotiation. We need to involve women in this process. The second question is: are women's perspectives heard and reflected while setting the agenda? The second one: are women present in the meetings where discussions and agreements are reached? In all stage, we need to check this. Are women there? Are there perspective view we hear and we can and this is visible. The next one is negotiation for peace, and in this stage we need to find the answer: are women and women's civil society organization heard while negotiation for peace? We need to involve these NGOs to give women possibility to achieve the rights, to achieve opportunities for these rights. The next question: does the peace agreement reflect women's rights, needs, interests, and experience? It is very important to remember not only about the rights. Women and men have different needs, have different interests, and have different experience. And it is very important to include in this peace agreement experience on different groups, on different women and men groups, because we have different tools to solve different problems, and we can see or we can find different different tools to solve the same problem. The next one question that we need to ask, or the not question, but the next stage or point, we need to consult with women's NGO and women and girls impacted by the conflict. They have very specific needs and very specific experience, and we need to include it and remember it. The next one stage, big stage and big block of our work is implementation of this agreement, and in this we need to ask ourselves: are women involved in this implementation and monitoring of this agreement? We can create a great agreement, but we don't have any monitoring indicators, and we won't know about how good this agreement for stakeholders. So if agreement if women involved in the implementation and monitoring of this agreement, we can correct any points in right time. So meaningful participation in the peace process is very important, and and it's not only about the women. We need to include in this process all vulnerable groups who was impacted by conflict. And as we know, women under the biggest and bigger pressure, and they feel more unsafe, unsafeable than men in the conflict territory, and they suffered of crimes more than men. I mean, sexual crimes, for example, and to build for women a safe environment, we need to involve them in the peace building process. So I hope I not take a lot of time. Thank you very much
thank
for
you so
all
much.
inviting, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much. Definitely equality before gender is what we are looking for. And for a peaceful world, we need to treat everyone with equal respect, equal love. And just now, Dr. Isra has joined us. So may I request Dr. Isra to please put the view forward regarding peace. So your view, please, Dr. Isra.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to join this conference. As a professor of education, I'd like to talk about peace and the role of education in peace, of course. If you look at a lot of the countries in the world right now, you'll see that many countries are investing in education rather than in their militaries and in their defense, because they understand that that's actually the way forward. That is the way to have peace. It's not by having a good military to defend your country. It's by educating people to get rid of the hatred between people, to get rid of the racism, to get rid of all of the negative feelings that people have against each other, which basically stems from ignorance and, you know, a lot of media propaganda that is showing different countries as maybe more violent than other countries. So for example, if we look at the history after World War II, a lot of the countries in Europe, especially countries like Germany and other countries, they decided that to avoid another world war, they would invest a lot in education, and that would be the way forward. And Europe is quite a peaceful continent right now, so they had the right idea. And I'm hoping that other countries and continents follow this lead, that they should really invest in education. And for educators, because I'm sure there are a lot of educators here, you know, there's so much research about how effective it is to bring up young citizens with this idea of global citizenship, of acceptance, of diversity, in integrating everything in the curriculum. You know, you have to integrate that character building, how we treat other people, how to see everybody as humans, not as groups of bad people, basically. How to build and develop their empathy skills, their social emotional skills, that they can understand and feel what other people are going through, that they should not look at the news and hear about hundreds of people dying and thinking, oh, that's just, you know, that's so far away from my life that it doesn't matter to me. Everybody should feel responsible and everybody should feel like they should be doing something about it. And this starts from a very young age. It starts from their schooling. It starts with different projects. It starts with just small community projects. So, and I'll give a very small example from one of the schools I was leading in Egypt, that we had a whole unit on problem solving, but we wanted to build empathy and to build this idea of global citizenship. And so we had students from K to 12, the whole school was doing this, where they had to go out and interview all the members inside the school, all the stakeholders. So they interviewed everybody, including the cleaning staff, including the security staff. You know, they came to my office to interview me, and then they listed the problems these people were having, and then they started working on a solution. And I think that's very important to build this sense of responsibility in children, that you don't just see something that's wrong in your community or in your world and think, well, that's none of my business, that's not my job. No, everything is our responsibility in our business, because it's our world and we're living in it, and we want it to be more positive and we want it to be a nice place to live in. And so that's our responsibility as individuals. So I hope I've added something to the summit, and thank you very much. It's an amazing initiative on your behalf, and it was an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Indeed, you added a lot of value, a lot of insight, a lot of knowledge. Those were really profound thoughts. And if we make children become the change maker, because children, we know they are the harbinger of change. So if they take it forward, definitely the day is not far when the world will be a peaceful place to live, because we have not inherited this planet from our ancestor. We have borrowed it from our children. So we definitely have to leave a better planet for our children. Thank you so much for your insightful views. Moving ahead, may I now request our next speaker, Dr. Babar Afzal. He is an ethical hacker from London. So if we have Mr. Babar, Dr. Babar Afzal here. So Dr. Afzal, if you are there, you can just raise your hand or you can show a thumbs up.
He's not there. He's just flying to Dubai. He'll not be joining today.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's move ahead. We have our next speaker from Greece. She's an educator from Greece, Evangelia. So Evangelia, are you there with us right now? Evangelia? So we'll move ahead and then we'll come back to you later if you are there. So let's welcome our next speaker for today. He's an energy engineer from Pakistan, Mr. Syed Mazidullah. Mr. Syed? Mr. Syed from Pakistan? Let's move ahead for our next speaker to express, to hear their view and their opinions. So moving ahead, the next speaker is from Thailand, Professor Chai Cheng Tan. Professor, do we have you amongst us today? Professor Tan? So let's welcome our next speaker for today. Next speaker is Nadezhda Ivanova, MIE, that is Master Trainer from Russia. Nadezhda Ivanova from Russia. Yes, we have you here.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Can I share the screen, please?
Yes, sure. We'll give you the rights.
I'm switching on the camera. Yes.
Yes, you are the co-host now.
Thank you. Thank you. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. So, just a second. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear educators. So I am glad to be a part of the World Peace Summit. I'm honored to be present at this global meeting. And I'm Nadezhda Ivanova, an English teacher from Krasnoyarsk, Russia. I work at secondary school, and besides, I also love participating in various volunteer global collaborative projects. So today I'm going to present my practical experiences, my school insight into peace education. Being an educator, a secondary school educator, and a Microsoft community innovative educator, I implement technologies and collaborative practices into my school life. So I facilitate the world seen through the children's eyes club. This club has a long experience of about 10 years and even more. And the mission of the club is to promote understanding, tolerance, communication, and collaboration among children throughout the world. So the main trend, the major activity of our club is empowering communication and collaboration, cultural exchanges between classes and schools from different countries. So you can see that every year students create cards, for example, cards for Vietnam, and receive cards like elementary students are rejoicing having received cards from Greece. So besides greeting cards, Christmas cards, which showcase our Russian New Year culture, we also include some artifacts to present Russia and our place where we live. And we often include some notes of peace, like peace doves, peace posters, peace quotations, and poetry to share, to spread peace throughout the world. Our students also love Skype in the classroom or Zoom connections when they make up friends, new friends with students throughout the world, share their interests, and practice their communication and collaboration skills. Quite often, my students present their educational projects in front of the global audience to demonstrate their learning achievements and to start to promote collaboration. So a great event in the life of our school and our club in particular was participation in the volunteer project to promote Winter Universiade 2019, which was held in Krasnoyarsk. Our team supported the sportsmen from Portugal, and it was a great, it was a highlight in our school life. And after the university, after the Universiade, the students, the club members had Skype connections throughout the world to share the experience, the events and the results of the Universiade. So we also love to establish peace connections, friendly connections throughout the world by means of Microsoft technologies like Flipgrid. During the Global Microsoft Connection 2020, we had, for example, a group with Indian teachers and students, where students from Russia, from my school, and students from Indian schools shared about their cultures, about themselves, reflected on their collaboration. So I go next. So, of course, one of the mainstream activities in our school and in my club, in our club, is raising awareness of students of peace issues or world issues, and promoting peace throughout the world. So there is a variety of activities to be done in our school, which aim at peace education of students from elementary to high school. So during at the end of September, we celebrate Peace Week to raise awareness of the International Day of Peace. And educators from different classes, guided by our club, have talks about peace with students. We share about peace crane and peace dove projects, and students create their paper art to share their insight, their vision of peace, to send their messages of peace. So a great masterclass workshop was created to design peace wheels. Students had a talk on peace symbols, and they discussed proverbs on peace in Russian, and they also discussed some peace quotations. We sang songs both in English and in Russian, songs about peace. And after that, students shared their messages of peace, pictures and words of peace, and then they created their peace wheels and carried them home to tell their families about peace, the importance of maintaining peace in the world. So, and a very exciting event was in 2019, in November 2019, when we had a global Microsoft connection, and the students from elementary school had a workshop, a global workshop to create peace doves and peace cranes. So another interesting event in our club, in our school life, was origami peace session conducted by Kalyani Valeti, an Indian teacher, who narrated the story of the 3 wise monkeys by Gandhi. So the story has a great message behind. So while creating their paper art, paper monkeys, students were taught, were educated to hear no evil, to see no evil, and to speak no evil. That is to be non-violent, to be tolerant and peaceful to each other and towards other people. So it was a very educational, very inspirational session. So to sum up, so there are some activities, so some peace issues, peace education highlights we have in our school, like talking about SDGs, various SDGs, all the 17 of them, having cultural exchanges, sending cultural packages and receiving them. So creating peace symbols and sharing them throughout the community and throughout the and among global peers. Quite inspirational was to share peace quotations on Bansi. So we collected some quotations from Mother Teresa and other famous people, and we shared this Bansi board on the internet, and quite a lot of educators and students added their peace quotations on our Bansi board. So our Bansi had about 1,000 views. So it attracted attention from global community. So peace quotations, they are just like stories about peace. They teach students peace. So we also sang songs, and we shared the songs on the Bansi, on the internet again. And one of the activities was to create peace cinquain. So in the secondary school, after having our peace talk, students
were suggested, were invited to create peace in Ukraine. And this was our collaboration on peace. Peace, important, long-lasting, deserve, keep, protect. Countries are collaborating. Happiness. And I would love to finish with the words by Mother Teresa. Many educators gave nice stories on peace, and some of them quoted these words by Mother Teresa, that peace begins with a smile. So I wish each of us to smile, to live in peace, to live without conflicts. And one more thing is, someone said, peace begins with us. Yes, I remember. Peace begins with me. So every person counts. Everyone is important in the global peace movement. So thank you, dear educators, for listening and for inviting me to participate in this honored session, conference, sorry. So thank you.
So thank you so much. Definitely, as we said in the beginning, also peace begins with a smile. So I'll request one more time, all the speakers and the listeners and the audience to smile. It makes you look beautiful also, and it will make you have peace with your own self. And once you have peace with your own self, definitely you'll have the peace with the entire world also. So moving ahead, I can just see one of our speaker joining us, Mr. Mustafa Kheti. Mr. Mustafa Kheti, we would like to hear your views on peace. Mr. Mustafa is an economist and he's joining us from Morocco. I have sent you the request to unmute yourself. So if you can unmute yourself and join us. Mr. Mustafa? So moving ahead, we have our next speaker from Russia. She's Natalia Filmonova, HOD and Professor, Cultural Institute, Russia, Vladimir. May I request Natalia to please share her view? Natalia, I have sent you the request to unmute yourself. So if you can unmute yourself. Natalia, may I request you to please unmute yourself? I can see you here in the participant list. So while I think Natalia is trying to unmute herself, I will quickly take the names of the speakers who were not there. So if you are there, please let us know. Please raise your hand or please show thumb so that we can unmute you. So any of the speaker whom we have missed out or who has joined us late, if they can please let us know so that we can unmute you. Natalia, if you can join us now. So we are unmuting everyone so that it will become easy for you. So do we have Vedrena Sarak here? Vedrena Sarak or Dr. Jose Martin? Mr. Mustafa Kheti? Claudia Silva? If you are there amongst us, please let us know so that we can unmute you, though we have sent a request for everyone to unmute themselves.
Hello, yeah, I'm here. I got unmuted.
Yes, please. We would like to hear from you.
Thank you.
Yes, may I have your views, please? So Natalia, can we hear from you, please?
We can bind up the program, Doctor.
Yeah, do we have Mr. Mohammed Dalal there? Or Mr. I think most of the speakers have presented their narrative, their view about peace, and that is what we at Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research believes in, that peace is the way forward. Peace is not just the solution, peace is the only solution. And peace comes when each one of us live in harmony. And a lot of speakers have spoken about, it is not about competition, it is about collaboration, and collaboration is what we look forward to. So before heading towards the end of the third session, I would just like to make a final remark or a small announcement that very soon we will be going ahead with a virtual convocation for the deserving and worthy members of the society from various walks of life. So stay tuned for the upcoming notification from our end, and you will come to know what I'm going to speak about. So stay tuned for that. If you are worthy and if you deserve to be recognized for your efforts that you are doing, definitely Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research would like you to be the worthy recipient of the upcoming convocation program. Now, further moving ahead, I would like to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of Charles Walter Society for Innovation and Research with a Sanskrit phrase, Tat Parivartan Bhava. Tat Parivartan Bhava means be the change to embrace peace and make peace the way of life. May we move in harmony, speak in one voice, and let peace prevail. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to the chief guest, guest of honor, special guest, keynote speakers, all the honorable country coordinators, state coordinators, country ambassadors, and the officials, along with the directorates of Charles Walter Society of Innovation and Research, in making the third session of World Peace Summit a grand success. Let peace prevail across the globe. As we have one hope, we have one dream, and with one voice we sing. Peace, prosperity, and love for all, love for mankind. That is what we believe in. As many speakers also said, everyone, I think most of us, we spoke about Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. And I would like to end with that. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is what is our belief. Entire world is our family. Humanity is our religion. And that is what we all believe in. And we have seen the beautiful amalgamation of humanity from across the globe here today during today's summit. So thank you so much. Namaskar. Jai Hind from India. Dr. Abhishek Pandey, would you like to express your views towards the end?
Madam, vote of thanks is proposed. Thank you very much, everybody. connected today. Gratitude from Charles Walker Society for Innovation Research. Thank you very much. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much. Good night. Thank you, sir.